remember that day. I never forgot it. That a slave could take revenge against an emperor.
Welcome into Box Office Quarterbacks. Jeff and Ahmed back at it again, this time to talk about Gladiator II. Ahmed, there's been some mixed reactions on this movie so far. Fans of the original saying that this is a soulless cash grab. Others praising it. I really did enjoy this movie, and when you're coming off an episode where we watched 5 episodes of Cobra Kai, anything's going to look better in comparison compared to that. So that is kind of my quick thoughts right away. What about you?
I mean, the idea of it being a cash grab and it could be something amazing, I think it's somewhere in between. One could totally make that. Well, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. It's totally a cash grab. It's totally a fucking cash grab. If you don't think it is, then you're out of your mind. Why is it but is it okay to be a cash grab? Sure. I mean, when was the last time we had a medieval movie? You know, when was the like Troy came out, 2005?
Yeah.
And then all those Hercules movies that they kept trying to make, those were an epic fail. I can't remember when 300 came out. So it's been a while since they've made an epic film like this. But was it as good as it could have been? No. It was good, don't get me wrong, but they could have done a completely different story. I don't think it should have been Gladiator II because we'll get into it more, but I think it just was like super lazy. Like now I saw one of the trailers, they're going to try to do the Odyssey by Homer, which I'm like, oh, we've heard the story 1,000 times. Give us something fucking new.
Yeah. And, they really went some extra lengths to tie this to the first movie. Lucius is our main character, the son of Lucilla, and it is revealed that Maximus is his dad in this movie, which was kind of alluded to in the first, I guess. So It's not that big of a shock, but
it's also like, oh, okay, so why did you send him away? Who was going after him? I thought after he killed Joaquin Phoenix, everything was good. Like, that was implied. And then you mean to tell me that, like, there were people coming after him? 2 twin emperors? Where the fuck did these kids come from?
They were like knockoff Great Value Joaquin Phoenixes in this movie.
Yeah, they were incest King Joffrey.
It was hilarious, though, when the little one was named Carcella or something, when he becomes the sole emperor and he appoints his monkey to be on the council. I laughed my ass off on that.
Yeah, but again, it's all like just, okay, like we get it. They suck. They're terrible. But like it wanted you to feel something and you couldn't. Like, or I couldn't, at least, because I was so focused on the writing and the storytelling of it. Why? Because that was something that Gladiator did perfectly. Gladiator took you on the journey, and you were very well aware of what journey it was. It was a story about revenge. And the thing that made Gladiator the best was the movie ends with him getting his revenge, and then he dies.
Yeah, like Ridley Scott at this stage of his career, I think, wants to revisit all of his past franchises and go get one more crack at them. Like he did it with Prometheus and Alien Covenant. He is doing it with this movie. But at the end of the day, I do think the performances are great in this movie. I like Paul Mescal. This is the first time I've seen him in a movie, and I thought he was a very good lead here. Pedro Pascal is in this movie. I think he is very forgettable. And then you got Denzel Washington, who outacts everybody. It is like seeing Michael Jordan playing against like the Harlem Globetrotters or like the Washington Generals or something. He is just on another level.
Yeah. whenever I saw press for this movie, Denzel was giving so much love to Pedro Pascal. Pedro Pascal is such an amazing fucking actor. Like, just so awesome. And yes, he doesn't get as much screen time as he should. Paul Mescal, I thought was all right, cool, but I'm not gonna lie, Jeff. I didn't see the fucking movie for him. I saw the movie for Denzel. I saw the movie for Pedro Pascal. I felt like it was Paul Mescal trying to emulate Gerard Butler and uh,
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
The vodka has barely hit me. But yeah, it was like there was nothing exciting about him, in my opinion. I didn't think there was anything exciting. There wasn't anything that he did that made me like go, "Whoa, who the fuck is this guy?" But Denzel, on the other hand, like you said, he outacts everybody. This is Denzel taking everybody to batting practice. I mentioned this in a previous episode, but I never got to do the review for it, so I'm going to do a small review of it right now. Denzel Washington played Macbeth as the titular character. Every actor that starts out, they start out with learning the basics. Whenever you're learning a new instrument, you got to learn the first chords. Denzel knows Shakespeare. That was what he was taught whenever he was in drama school, I would imagine. And so whenever he played Macbeth, we, lucky us, get to see him play the titular character. He can do that shit in his sleep. And so and he didn't change his voice. He was and you knew it was Denzel playing Macbeth, but he had such an incredible amount of delivery that he didn't need to change who he was. He still brought the character to life, just like he did with this character in Gladiator. They didn't need to make this character. They did because they wanted Denzel in the picture. And yeah, that was the only way you were going to get people to get to the movies. I mean, it got me to the fucking movies. And so Denzel getting the screen time that he did, hell yeah. Does he play a weird character? Yeah. And that's arguably why his performance and his presence are why I would give the movie the rating that I would give it.
Yeah, his character Macrinus, like at the beginning, you don't know if he is necessarily the villain of this movie, and then he starts twisting the narrative to fit his goals, which is to basically take over Rome. And the way he manipulates those two emperors is so
Which doesn't take
conniving and
much
manipulative.
effort. It's not a lot of effort. Don't.
Well, they are stupid, and like he just gives them a little push. He kind of reminds me, I don't know, like he's like an agent of chaos. He's not on the level, obviously, of Heath Ledger's Joker, but he is similar in some ways. I think he is, out of the two Gladiator movies, this is probably my third favorite performance of them after Russell Crowe and Joaquin Phoenix. Like Denzel is that good, I would say.
That's a fair critique, because you hate Joaquin Phoenix's character, and that's what makes that movie so good. You fall in love with Maximus, Russell Crowe's character. You fall in love with these characters. Denzel's the only one that was able to create this ability. Pedro Pascal had the potential, but I think if he would have gotten a little bit more screen time, we could have achieved that. But I still will say that Denzel and Pedro Pascal's character, whose name I can't remember,
Acacius, I think is his name.
Acacius,
yeah. General Acacius,
something like that. I wish we had subtitles for those.
They're very tough names to remember. The only reason I know is because I pulled up IMDb like 5 minutes before this.
But you know which character I really liked that probably a lot of people would forget about? Ravi, the medic. I liked his character.
I did like him too.
I thought he was a surprising because he seems almost like, oh, who the hell is this guy? But whenever he delivers that line of, could you have taken me in your prime. He goes, I could take you in your current state. I was like, yes, fucking yes. Don't
Yeah.
take any shit from nobody, Robbie.
Yeah, he was good. I liked him. You also have Connie Nielsen back as
Yeah.
Lucilla, and she was good in the first movie. She's good here too. It is amazing that like she was able to continue to live in Rome after the first movie. Like Marcus Aurelius and his legacy was kind of damaged by the end of that first movie, and she's still kind of here. So that was kind of
Well, so that was the other thing. Her father was well respected. Her brother was the one that fucked it all up. And
yeah.
then whenever he died, it was like, okay, yeah, cool. Like now what happens? You become queen, you tell people, hey, live in the Senate, let the Senate, blah, 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 do all that. But no, apparently there are people that are going to come to get your kid. Who is going to come get your kid?
That was unintentionally funny in that scene because she's like, "You got to go, and I got to stay here to keep up appearances." Like, oh, you got to continue to live in this nice palace, and he has
Yeah.
to go
Oh, no.
live wherever.
Yeah, no, and I'm not done. There's so many things wrong with this. One, she left him behind. Two, she just like she's even though she was sad and she never stopped thinking about him, she creates another relationship with this fucking general who also respected Maximus. But like, wait, you had Maximus's kid and you just left him for 16 years and he just forgave her out of the fucking blue?
Yeah, um, not exactly
No,
mom of the
no, we're
year.
not done, Jeff.
Not done.
We're not done.
You're airing grievances
We're
tonight.
airing grievances. No, and then like, I lost my train of thought. But he just he he doesn't have the military leadership. But then all of a sudden, all these people are just rallying around him. He's fought like what, 2 battles?
Oh, Lucius, you're talking about at the end?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
fought 2 battles, and everyone's like, "Yeah." He didn't have a nickname like Maximus.
I feel like because they knew him as like the barbarian or whatever they were calling him. And if
Yeah,
this dude like is like rolling through on a horse and kills like the second in command of the emperor, you'd be like, what is going on here? Like, who are
yeah.
you? Like, I wouldn't be like bowing down at that certain point in time.
Well, and I didn't like that he was so bold for somebody who he was. Like he was very like, yeah, I have an agenda. I'm here. Like I know poetry. He was doing all this shit. Like, hey, why didn't you fucking take it down a notch? You know what I mean? Like glad. Like I don't know what it was, but maybe it's the new generation, which is stupid to say because we're 30. But like, Russell Crowe's character didn't talk too much shit. He talked shit, but he knew how to tread it. He wasn't as bold as Lucius was. Lucius was like super bold from the get go. Like he was threatening the emperors right before.
Yeah.
Yeah, right
He,
before. Like
he shot that arrow at them. I was like, damn, this dude is still alive, huh?
he talked shit to them about poetry. He talked poetry in front of them, and they were supposed to just accept that. Like, even if they're crazy as they were when they were all, the gods have spoken, if they were that crazy, if they were that fucking crazy, as soon as he recited poetry, who the fuck is this guy? Get him the fuck out of my house.
Those guys were just basing all their decisions off of vibes. That's what I told my wife. They're just, no.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
No, and speaking of characters, the mountain from Game of Thrones was there.
Oh, okay. I haven't watched Game of Thrones, but I'm guessing he was the giant one. So I really like the action scenes here. Like,
The
are
actions.
they outlandish? Yes. When he's fighting the baboons and the CGI is kind of wonky, that
Yeah.
was. I still thought it was fucking badass where he like bites the monkey and he's doing all that shit, and the sharks were cool too.
Yeah, the sharks. How the fuck was that even possible? What coked out executive producer was just like, you guys, we need to have sharks.
Like, how do you
Okay?
transport the sharks into the Colosseum?
We gotta figure out a way. Okay? Because in the first movie we had tigers, right? We had lions. So we need to have something more epic. What's more epic than that? Can we get sharks with lasers?
Oh my god, that's
Well,
Gladiator
lasers don't
3.
exist back then. Can we just get sharks then? Is that historically accurate?
Gladiator 3 Tokyo Drift, that's coming in a few years.
Gladiator 3 Tokyo Drift. No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
That's what's happening next.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the historical accuracies are probably all over the place. I know they did flood the Colosseum at certain points for water battles. I'm sure the sharks weren't there. I think my wife read that Lucius was actually Marcus Aurelius's brother or something. So they did like fudge with history a lot here.
Yeah, well, because you know why? Because people would go, he has a brother? What kind of shitty writing is that? So they said, no. Let's make him his son, his bastard son, because it was already pretty much established in the beginning that they were fucking. So,
Yeah.
but that in and of itself. Oh, here was the other grievance I had. I think historically, or maybe in this political landscape, we needed a happy ending. Movies, for all intents and purposes, they are a reflection of our current climate. And so to have a movie like this that had its happy ending was necessary. Um, that being said, it didn't deserve a happy ending. I think with Gladiator, that should have been the
Final
closed
chapter.
chapter.
Yeah.
Because with this, Rome falls. Rome falls. How? It doesn't fucking matter anymore.
Yeah.
Because you watch this movie and you're like, oh, awesome, happy ending, yay!
I was honestly shocked that this movie got a happy ending because I was waiting for Lucius to die at the end because of, I mean, Maximus dies at the end of Gladiator 1. So I was kind of expecting them to kind of go beat for beat here, which they did for the most part. It is essentially the same story as before, but I think they left it this way to make a Gladiator 3 if they wanted to.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Just in case, yeah. No, because that's the thing. But like when it comes to good storytelling, Gladiator was refreshing in that. So I went like a rabbit hole with my brother-in-law. Shout out to Raymond. I saw The Patriot with Mel Gibson. We saw Troy, and then with these are just to name a couple, and then Gladiator. Those three comedies in three. So we're gonna tell them threes. Both of those two movies end with the heroes dying in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Tragic ending. Oh, fuck. We'll even go 300. Leonidas dies in the end. He doesn't win. But it's still like a tale of revenge. They go back and blah, blah, blah. With Gladiator, he says, I will have my revenge. He gets it. And then he dies. And I thought that was perfect poetry. Because how do you get that? Just like in John Wick, he gets his revenge, but then there's some shit that happens later. But it takes so much, but then he finally dies on his terms. After, the fucking falling down all those stairs and taking on half the world, literally half the world. But he gets that happy ending. You have to earn that shit. And I think that's where this instant gratification timeline that we're in, where we need a happy ending, we're trying to force it. Like, no, you got to earn those happy endings, man.
Yeah, it's just another legacy sequel that leaves things open-ended. But when it comes to legacy sequels, I do think this is one of the better ones. Like, I was thoroughly impressed throughout most of this movie. I know it does have its problems. If we're gonna rank this movie on the box office QB scale, I would give it an all-star. Like, I did really have a good time watching this movie.
I agree. I'll give it an all-star. It was visually stunning. It was epic. My wife, who is one of the better critiques, because if she likes something, she likes it. She fell asleep towards the beginning. She liked the second half. There were a lot of parts that even I'll admit dragged. I have no problem admitting they dragged, but at the end of it, was it entertaining? Sure. Would I watch it again? Most likely not.
Yeah, I would. It'd probably be a while before I revisited both these movies, I would say.
Oh, no,
But
no, no. I will watch Gladiator anytime. Anytime. That's
yeah,
such a good movie. In fact, the reason why I watched this one was because I watched Gladiator for the fourth time.
damn. And I
Yeah.
just saw it for the first time last week, so
Yeah. Were you not entertained?
I was very entertained. My wife was right. The first one is very, very good. She was not quite the fan of the second one, though.
Because it's a long movie, but that's the thing with these epic films is you don't need it to feel like a long movie. They deserve to be long movies, but you don't want it to feel like a long movie. With Gladiator 2, you're like, okay, what's going to happen next? Oh my God, why do we need to see this part? Hurry the fuck up.
Yeah, they could have trimmed maybe 15, 20 minutes out of that movie.
I don't even think we needed to know that he was married at one point.
Yeah, that's like a whole... Because they were trying to do the thing with the first movie where it opens with that battle. She was here so he could try to kill his stepdad at the end of the movie. So,
yeah. Oh, and then he just is like, oh, I forgive you because you knew my father. It was very like Martha from Batman versus Superman.
it really was, actually. Like, I love your mom and you love my...
too?
We both love your mom. Oh my God. Yeah, that is... I'll never unsee that, probably.
Yeah. You know dad too? Oh, my dad named you. Oh, it's
Oh
like,
my God.
very caveman like.
Well, anything else, Ahmed, before we get out of here?
Guys, come on. We need some original fucking stories. Cut it out with the sequels. Give us something.
Well, we're getting Craven 2 in 2 weeks, Ahmed, so
No, come
buckle the
on.
fuck up.
Did you learn nothing from that abomination that Jared Leto was in that I didn't watch, but I could tell it was going to suck?
Oh, we've learned nothing, and we will continue to learn
Morbius?
nothing. Yes, Morbius and Madam Web, and maybe Nosferatu will save us at the end of next month. But yeah, this has been Box Office Quarterbacks. I'm Jeff. That's Ahmed. We'll talk to you guys very, very soon with an episode I don't know yet. Have a good one.